Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, 5 candidates continue to campaign for the 3 open Lexington City Council seats on the line in next Tuesday's elections. National elections heat up as party candidates fight for control of Congress, and a new national movement makes its presence known in Lexington. All this and more on the Rockbridge Report. Welcome to this week's edition of the Rockbridge Report. I'm Alicia Budich. 5 candidates are running for 3 open spots on Lexington City Council. Rockbridge reporter Holly Southerviews interviewed each candidate about this hot election and some issues facing Lexington.
With the local elections less than a week away, City Council candidates are continuing to talk about their goals and ideas. Running for the 3 available seats are Mary Harvey, Frank Friedman, who is the only incumbent, John Mormon, George Pride, and Chuck Smith. Each candidate answers a series of questions about his or her candidacy. The first question is about increasing local business and bringing more jobs to the area. The candidates answer the question, what efforts need to be made to make Lexington more business-friendly?
First and foremost, though, we have to look at the situation, and we have to look at other localities that have historic districts. And I would start with Alexandria, Virginia, Fairfax City. I know they're in Northern Virginia. I'm sorry, that's where they are, but they are still under Commonwealth law. And they have improved and maintained and made selling points of their downtown areas.
Working regionally to develop job plans and employment and business creation.
In a time where the city is realizing reduced sales tax revenues and reduced business tax revenues, we absolutely have got to do a better job of encouraging and educating local citizens what's available downtown.
The block of Main Street between Washington and Nelson, compared what it looked 5 years ago to what it looks like now and what it's going to look like in a year or two, I think the city has a real selling tool to be able to draw in people that want to do business here. And
another area that I think that that the Chamber of Commerce can help us with is this new federal Small Business Jobs Credit Act that was passed into law less than a month ago, and it provides some loans to local banks to leverage those loans to make bigger loans to local businesses.
Improving the relationship between Lexington and Rockbridge County is another concern that citizens would like to see worked on by City Council. The candidates answer the question, what needs to change to improve the relationship between the city and the county?
There's a lot of services that could be shared between the counties and the cities, and I'm talking Buena Vista too.
First and foremost, if folks would just talk to one another and realize that a lot of the age-old obstacles that people perceive are in place really aren't in place.
We can look at issues like the landfill issue, we can look at issues like the Moores Creek issue as examples of where I think collaboration and cooperation needs to be improved.
what this county's priorities are and what the city's priorities are kind of divergent, but I guess we need to focus on where they overlap.
I think we have to go forward arm in arm with the county and with Buena Vista and present a united front to some of those businesses who may be interested in moving to the area.
Each candidate tells the Rockbridge Report why he or she should be elected.
I'm approachable. I want to hear what your concerns are. I'm not afraid to talk about uncomfortable subjects.
Well, I know I have a passion for our city. I've got good background and a responsible individual.
I'm very direct. I have a different approach and a fresher set of eyes.
Well, I'm running because I have the most vested interest in the performance of the city.
I've just had a lot of local organizations, and I think that experience has given me a good understanding of what some of the opportunities that we have here in Lexington are.
Each of the 5 candidates encourage local citizens to learn about his or her ideas and to vote on Election Day. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Holly Southers.
The Lexington City Council elections will take place on Tuesday, November 2nd. The polls are located in the Life Saving Crew building on Spotswood Drive and will be open from 6 a.m. until 7 p.m. Buena Vista citizens have raised concerns that school officials may have repeatedly broken state educational guidelines while trying to gain support for their upcoming school bond referendum. On November 2nd, voters will decide whether Buena Vista can borrow $510,000 in federal stimulus money to upgrade Perry McClure Middle School's energy systems to make it more efficient. A Perry McClure message board publicly advocates passing the referendum, and Kling Elementary School students were asked to design Vote Yes posters. These are both possible violations of Section G of the state handbook, which says that school officials should not promote political agendas within their schools. And in the 6th district race for the House of Representatives, it looks like a lock for incumbent Republican Bob Goodlatte, as he faces no Democratic opposition. Although it has been deemed a safe election by many political analysts, independent candidate Jeffrey Venke and Libertarian candidate Stuart Bain hope to oust Goodlatte in Tuesday's election. Venke, a budget consultant, is running on a platform that calls for a balanced federal budget. He has drafted a plan to balance the nation's expenditures and revenues within 4 years. He also wants to raise the retirement age for Social Security benefits and cap itemized tax deductions at $20,000 a year per household.
Both parties have had a turn, and some things haven't gotten done. The budget hasn't been balanced. There's been no proposal to balance the budget.
On another side, Libertarian candidate Bain calls for a tax reform proposal that replaces the federal income and payroll-based tax with a national retail sales tax. He also calls for smaller government and protection of individual liberties.
Got to the point where, with the government's out of control spending and the fact that my congressman really doesn't care to throw his weight behind fixing the tax system, he just wants to get rid of the 1986 tax code. I decided that if no one else was going to stand up for liberty and freedom, that I would do it.
Governor Goodlatte, running for his 10th term, has raised his profile in Congress by supporting reforms such as reintroducing the constitutional amendment that would require the federal government to balance their budget every year. His platform also focuses on cutting spending, keeping regulations to a minimum, and keeping taxes low to help decrease unemployment.
The biggest problem is uncertainty. Businesses that are, particularly small businesses, that are the creator of most of the jobs in this country. 70% of the new jobs are created by small businesses, are not taking risks and spending money and expanding their businesses because they don't know what their tax liability is going to be, because the president wants to raise their taxes. They don't know what their health care situation is because this new law is a very complicated monstrosity.
Although the Goodlatte race is rather quiet, the race for House of Representatives in the 2 districts immediately to the east and southwest of Rockbridge County are anything but calm. Nationwide politics experts are watching Virginia races like these because Virginia is considered a purple state, a toss-up between Republican red and Democratic blue. The race for the 5th District House seat is very close. Incumbent Tom Perriello, who narrowly beat Virgil Goode in 2008, is facing another tough opponent in State Senator Robert Hurt. According to the Institute for Policy and Opinion Research at Roanoke College, Hurt is leading Perriello 46 to 40%. Perriello is facing backlash for voting with President Obama and Speaker Nancy Pelosi on health care reform. The 5th District is ranked 2nd in the nation in campaign donations from outside spending. Outside spending comes from groups not officially part of any campaign. Groups like this have spent more than $3 million in the district. And Politico.com says these funds are important because they show where parties and special interest groups think they can make the most difference. Virginia's 9th district race is another nail-biter. This is the first election in Democrat Rick Boucher's 14 terms in Congress where he's been in such a close race. Boucher is running against Virginia House of Delegates Majority Leader Morgan Griffith. Griffith has been in the Virginia House of Delegates since 1994. Boucher has been criticized for voting in favor of the cap-and-trade bill, which critics claim would hurt the district's coal mining industry. Critics of Griffith call him a carpetbagger because he lives outside the district. These races are both too close to call and could determine whether Republicans take 39 seats and take over the House, or if Democrats hold on to power for another 2 years. 3 proposed constitutional amendments will also be on ballot statewide this Tuesday. One could expand property tax exemptions to include injured veterans, disabled persons, and homeowners over 65 years old. However, many in Rockbridge County will not be affected. For the past 2 years, the county has provided the maximum tax relief permitted by the state. One of the amendments would shift tax burdens to anyone who meets any value of wealth or income that a local jurisdiction wishes to set. However, in Rockbridge County, the tax structure is currently set at the lowest value the state allows. To learn more about this and the other two amendments, go to our website, rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. Coming up, find out how anti-incumbent feelings and new party restructuring are changing the national political landscape. And later in the show, see what Lexington residents are doing to get ready for Halloween.
I wouldn't have been at this ceremony if I hadn't been at this ceremony first. Unfortunately, nearly 30% of U.S. high school students aren't making it to graduation, and every one of us, every parent, every friend, and neighbor, has the responsibility to provide the support and encouragement they need to make it through. Because we all need to see a lot more of these pictures.
I'm lucky.
Let me help you with that.
I get to do something I love. It has nothing to do with touchdowns or titles.
Everybody bring it in.
I get to play a part in the life of someone just starting out.
How many of you think homework is just as important as teamwork?
I help keep kids in school.
Good.
And that's the name of the game.
My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United.
Congressional campaigns around the country are gearing up for Tuesday's elections, and many races are still uncertain. Several races have turned ugly, fueled by aggressive campaign ads and contentious debates. Key political analysts blame weak candidates as a cause for close or uncertain poll results. Tea Party candidates defeated several traditional Republican leaders in the primaries. However, it's undecided whether these reformists will help or hurt the Republican Party gain control of Congress. 3 key Senate races highlighted by political analysts are in Delaware, Illinois, and Washington State. Delaware came into the spotlight when relatively unknown candidate Christine O'Donnell ousted Republican incumbent Michael Castle for the Republican nomination. According to Washington and lead politics professor Bill Connolly, Delaware is now faced with 2 weak candidates. Chris Coons, Democratic candidate, captured the nomination following Beau Biden's unexpected withdrawal from the race. The Illinois race is also a face-off between 2 contentious candidates, as Republican candidate Mark Kirk and Democratic candidate Alex Giannoulis fight over President Obama's old seat. Finally, experts say Washington State is a determining factor in Republican success on Tuesday. If Republican Dino Rossi knocks off Democrat Patty Murray in traditionally liberal Washington, it would send a signal of strong voter discontent with Democratic leadership. To read more in-depth coverage of pivotal national congressional races, check out the full story at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. The Tea Party movement is voicing its discontent nationwide, and Rockbridge County is no exception. Rockbridge reporter Michael Freeman tells us why some residents are all steamed up.
They call themselves the Tea Party Patriots, and they say they're fed up with big government. What began in 2009 as small protests has become a high-profile national movement.
They want to see government officials held accountable. They want to see a return to the tenets of the Constitution, and they want to see tax reform.
The Rockbridge Tea Party held a forum at Waddell Elementary School 2 weeks ago. Republican Congressman Bob Goodlatte played to the crowd's hatred of government waste. He gave a top 10 list of misspent dollars.
Researchers at Rice University and the University of Texas at Dallas, they're going to get $194,000 in stimulus funds to study people's perceptions of the stimulus.
People who attended the forum had various opinions about the greatest issue facing America today.
For me, fair tax.
It may be painful. We're all going to feel some of it, but it's the price we pay, and it's the whole we done.
The biggest mistake is stimulus program over expenditures.
Some local Democratic leaders applaud the Tea Party's level of political enthusiasm, but feel the movement lacks focus.
I think their positions are, in some cases, somewhat vague, and although they lend themselves to campaign rhetoric, they don't tell us how they're going to get the job done.
I guess the question would be, do they have a clear motivation other than stop the taxes? And if I think they have not been able to this point to clearly define their goals.
With the elections coming up this Tuesday, Tea Party members hope their frustration will drive voters to make changes in Washington. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Michael Freeman.
Regardless of what happens on Tuesday's election, the Rockbridge Tea Party says it will continue to meet. These meetings are every second Tuesday of the month, and they meet at the Rockbridge County Library in Lexington. After the break, a prize-winning journalist comes to Lexington this Friday. And after the show, reporter Tim Watson sits down with Dushan Yanshik to discuss a new technology coming to Rockbridge County.
Hey.
Ready to go?
Yeah, but the fire's not out.
It's close enough.
Close enough? If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. I mean, the next thing you know, you've torched our whole neighborhood.
Which is why we're not going anywhere?
Exactly. 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Es un gran día para los deportes. Vaya festín de jugadas que tenemos.
Mucha acción, David, por eso nos vamos directamente a la pelota. Es el duelo padre-hijo en el jardín. Batazo al jardín derecho, no. Y se cayó.
Se cayó, pero bueno, ahí va, ahí va, ahí va.
Nos vamos ahora al básquet, 2 contra 1.
Y la clava. Solita, la clavó.
Y ahora el fútbol. Ahí está papá, que la pase.
Solo.
Lo va a definir, golazo. Estas son escenas que no se repiten. Las mejores jugadas suceden en casa.
Tómate el tiempo para ser un buen papá.
Well, sunny weather is in store for the area this weekend, but lower temperatures show that fall has finally arrived. Friday's high will reach the upper 50s and the low will be a chilly 36 degrees. Saturday will be partly cloudy and a little warmer with highs reaching into the mid-60s, and the low overnight will be in the low 40s. Sunday's high is also predicted to be in the mid-60s, the low overnight once again falling to 41 degrees. Monday will be partly cloudy with a high in the low 60s. Monday night will see temperatures in the low 40s. There's a possibility of rain on Tuesday with a high of only 58 degrees and the low 42 degrees. This Friday afternoon, distinguished journalist Dan Rather will be speaking at Washington and Lee. Rather is the keynote speaker for the 50th Journalism Ethics Institute. Rather was the anchor for CBS Evening News for 24 years. His speech will begin at 5:30 in Wilson Hall. And coming up after the show, reporter Tim Watson sits down with Dushan Yanshik to discuss new developments in the county-wide broadband project. But first, ghouls and goblins are suiting up for their annual Halloween visit.
The hurricane has passed, but the recovery won't be complete until all the water has receded. If you're having trouble coping, trained and caring help is waiting.
Hola, Grover, what are you doing?
Oh, I am making my emergency kit. I want to be prepared just in case.
Oh, my friend Mia made a kit with her family. Everyone help! They packed flashlights and batteries, water, food, a radio, and put it where they could find it rápidamente, quickly.
I guess I should take my canoe out of there, huh?
Look, Grover.
Help your family get ready for an emergency. Learn more at ready.gov/sesame.
Halloween is making its presence known as decorations are popping up all around town. Lexington will be celebrating the holiday on Friday this year, and children will be trick-or-treating downtown offices and businesses from 3:30 until 5. And then it will be trick-or-treat as usual for Sunday's Halloween day. Be sure to stay tuned after the broadcast as Tim Watson sits down with Dushan Yanshik for the on-the-record portion of the Rockbridge Report. And that's all we have for you this afternoon. Be sure to check us out online at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. That's where you'll find our pre-election coverage, and next Tuesday we'll update the site continuously as election results come in. Our first of 5 special broadcasts will be right here on Channel 18 next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Thanks for watching. I'm Alicia Budich.